Today, we're going to talk about the DNA shift. It's a real thing. This is part science, part spiritual speculation based on our own experiences that can't always be explained. Do you have the signs? I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to tell you about other huge shifts going on. Now, I say that often, quite often, every once in a while. There's a shift, and there is one going on. I'll give you some really great examples. Maybe you've experienced this in the material world, in your body, and what it means, because it's opening up massive gateways. It's really cool. I'm very excited about this. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. We're going out. We're expanding out. Now, a lot of you like this discussion about DNA. We talked about Tellurides. When we get older, Tellurides, they are those little endings of the actual genes that start to crinkle up. And do you know they're directly affected by happiness, meditation, less stress? So it's not just aging. You don't have to die at age 85 or whatever it is we project here in the United States. A lot of that is just this self-defeating thoughts that I'm old or I'm this or that, and we stop going out and doing the things we were. And of course, when we do that, we are retracting instead of expanding. You could actually go out there and live to be in your hundreds. In the Bible, they lived in their hundreds. Was that made up? No. That's what happened back then, because they didn't have the restrictions and the poisons and toxins that we do now, even though life was rough and they didn't have modern medicine. So we want to talk today about that DNA shift, what the signs are for you. Now, some of you have experienced, and I did years ago, I went into what they call a Kundalini Awakening. I'm not really sure what that is. It seems to be a little bit different for everybody. For me, it was an electrical charge that went through my body. It was literally like electricity. Now, I want you to think about this. We are electromagnetic fields, walking electromagnetic fields. And everything else is. Everything is a frequency, a vibration. The Schumann resonance is that electromagnetic field of the planet, is actually our collective consciousness affecting that, right? Of course, Mother Nature, there are other things involved, including planets, all this other stuff. But we directly affect it. It's raising up, it's going up. What does that mean? Higher frequency. Because as we raise our individual frequencies, that is service to others, love, openness, eliminating all the self-limiting doubts and self-limiting thoughts about other people and who and what we are. We're starting to go into that space. The expansion, the Tellurides are opening up. And so that DNA, junk DNA, spaces that aren't being used are actually starting to activate. They're being used. It's like when we were Neanderthals, if that was us at all, Neanderthals not using our brains, and of course we started to use more and more of our brains. Same thing's happening with DNA. It has been built in there, which goes against the whole Darwin thing that, things evolve. This was already existing, prepared for us to activate it. Same thing with our brains. We only use X amount percentage of our brains. Well, then what's the other percentage doing? Why was it there in the first place? Wouldn't we just expand our brains? There wouldn't be an existing brain that wasn't used, or an existing DNA portion that isn't being used, unless it was pre-programmed for us to shift into it when we're ready to. And we have to activate it because it is done through frequencies. This is cool stuff, all right? Now, I'm not going to go into science because I just don't have that expertise, but I do know that what I'm talking about, these are real experiments and observations by scientists that are saying this is not junk DNA, that it's actually changing. Our DNA is changing. Now, is this happening for everyone? No. And there are children being born with different DNA. There are changes in it, expansiveness, and abilities. So what we think is weird and scary with psychic abilities, mediums, all this stuff, that DNA is just allowing us all of that potential now is being activated that everybody holds. Everybody has the ability to have those psychic phenomenon that we talk about. Everybody has the ability to go into the other realms, to get answers that you never imagined possible, to channel. I'm not into, the physical channel. I don't, give up my body to, to anybody who just decides they're going to talk to me. But you can get the channeled messages like I do all the time. There is just information that is accessible because it's not separate from you. It's there. And so we have these limiting thoughts about here's me and here's that. When you move past that, your DNA will start to expand because you now are sending a directive into the quantum field that you're connecting to that. So it says, okay, hey, welcome. Been here the whole time, just waiting for you to catch up with it. It's not something separate. It is actually you. Your higher self is the expansive field outside of the body that you don't ever lose touch with. Symptoms. If you get those electrical charges, a lot of you have had that. I had it for a few years. It would come and go. There were months when it was really strong. I mean, it was like borderline annoying. And it would always happen when I was relaxed in bed, and then all of a sudden it would start up. And I enjoyed it because I knew something really cool was happening. And then, of course, we have all kinds of other things. Psychic abilities are starting to become more powerful. You're going to know things. I'm aware of things that are going to be said before they're said. And now what's happening is that shift is opening up probability. So when you go into that space and it's a high frequency, probabilities open up, right? Because now we're saying yes, yes. And so the universe opens up all those doors for us. We're actually doing it. And so you're going to see a lot of really good things starting to happen. Opportunities and ideas, but you have to act on them because you're still a human being. That's why I said don't be like putting all your baskets into some spiritual leaders' teachings, because they don't have all the answers. But they can teach you and guide you, and then you can access all of that also. So what we want to do is open up the gateways to probabilities and say, you know what? I don't have the answers. What if? What if aliens are walking amongst us because they're really our friends and they have had to, be in the shadows because guess what? Because we treat them horribly and we're told that they're evil. So instead of saying, hey, these are our neighbors, some of them are nice, some of them aren't, and we're the worst of the species out there, we've got to come to terms with the fact that we're the most threatening of species. And when we activate our DNA, we are no longer threatened by anything. You will not be thinking that way. Your activation takes you to a higher spiritual place because now you're connecting to that quantum space of all probabilities where all of a sudden you're not as attached to the material world. So it's not something that just happens to you. You're just walking around, you actually have made some kind of effort to go into that space. Maybe you're meditating more. Maybe you're opening up your ideas to the fact that it's okay for us to all be different, that it's a beautiful thing, that people can make negative decisions, and that we are not here to change them. We are here to show a lighter way, a better path to take, a higher path. We're here to go into oneness. And so you're going to be less attached to the material world, yet so much of that will actually flow into you. It's more like the more you give, the more you receive. And that is true because the directive to the universe is abundance. So it says, okay, and you participate in abundance. If you are in lack mode and whatever, that's that withdrawal. The Tellurides are crinkling up and getting old. And that's what happens. Lack, not grateful, the world's a threatening place, oneness, it's separation, and so that DNA is not going to be activated. If you're going into the space and you have a mental shift into the fact that we're so much greater than this, you don't have to have those answers, and all of a sudden things just open up. And they have shown that the actual DNA uncoils, it absolutely starts to open up, and it's beautiful, activates. And it actually has light in it. Your whole body's full of light. Everything's communicating in it. When it communicates to the next nerve ending or whatever is talking to it, it communicates beautifully. It becomes a community here. And so illness is separation. So everything in there is separate, attacking each other, right? And there's an imbalance. When you go into community and oneness, your body actually does that too. So it becomes community working together beautifully, and there's a nice balance so the nasty stuff doesn't take over anymore. That's how it works. In everything is a system duplicated on some level. You know, we're talking about all of the atoms and things that are, but it's endless. There are things within the atoms, within the things in the atoms. It just keeps going, and everything is a beautiful, organized science of numbers and its sounds and its vibrations and frequencies, and that is what's going on right now. So I have had people within this last week, I had opportunities, amazing opportunities with my work. I have been asked to interview one of the co-founders of Mind Valley. That's going to be coming up here in a couple months. I'm very excited. She has a book coming out. I'll announce that soon. And that was a wonderful opportunity. And so other things, one of my friends had a horrible situation trying to sell her house, got 2 offers, went into escrow. Another friend, been looking, boom, beautiful, perfect house. They just purchased the house. They put in an offer. It got accepted. I'm seeing opportunities come in. So you're going to see opportunities opening up. Again, opening the DNA, limitless, whatever. I don't have the answers, but I know I'm part of one beautiful energy field expressing itself. I'm one of those expressions. What can I do with it? And you will open up the floodgates for amazing things. So are you experiencing some really cool stuff happening? Now, here's the thing. You know, I cannot get these opportunities within my businesses and, you know, my spiritual teachings and all that stuff unless I'm pursuing things. I have to expand. So I have to, you know, look into things or contact people. Or you have to be expansive in every area. So our old thinking is that I will just sit here and meditate and will roll in at my feet. I heard that once. I'm like, well, that's great, but we live in a material world and nobody's going to knock on the door with your, you know, winning lottery ticket. You go out and you buy it. That's the beauty of the journey. It's like, oh, I went here and I bought, you know, all these tickets and one of them hit, you know. Not that I'm recommending that, but are you into expansive mode with your thinking? Physically, you're going to find that you probably don't want to eat the junk anymore. Your body's going to feel more that it's more toxic. You're going to be more aware that it's toxic and bad for you. So you're going to be sort of rejecting a lot of these things. You're going to feel happier and lighter. You're actually physically going to feel lighter because you're more expansive and you're connecting to this, what is absolute unconditional love, right? It's this unseen space that is all intelligence, always there for you. And you can communicate with all of these beautiful energy fields out there that are always with us in their own forms, that they're not mysterious things. It's just a different form. You happen to be in a low frequency, low vibration body, and they're in a much higher vibration, have their own frequencies out there. So explore this and go into the, I don't know, I don't have the answers, and how cool would it be, you know, if I could just access everything, and I'm going to accept that I have that ability. And then you access ideas, opportunities, and you open up. You're not asking, I need. It's like, I'm going to give. I'm going to give love to receive it. I'm going to give the material world things and share it to receive. And you don't do it to receive. You do it just out of love and giving and oneness. It does come back, and you want to live in that world of giving and gratitude, right? And when you're doing it, all of a sudden you don't need it from somebody else, but it will show up. This is the shift of the DNA. This is the shifts going on there. So what happens is all these opportunities and probabilities now start to show up in the material world because now our frequency is aligned with it. And so the Schumann resonance going up, it's raising because we are raising it. And everything's a frequency. Everything's a vibration and a frequency. What's a vibration is like, you know, this body has a vibration. I am making choices of the frequency within it. So I can, which is the light portion of us that cannot be created nor destroyed. I expand that into a higher frequency. And this, I'm still in a body, so I'm not going to, you know, I can change this. I can change it to some extent, but I'm still experiencing being human. Be okay with that. You know, and yes, you can heal yourself, but some people are not meant to heal. They're here to experience illness. Just don't make judgment on anything and see where it takes you. This is very exciting stuff. So yes, another big shift, DNA shift. What is it? It is absolutely something so beautiful and amazing that you can experience, and you have to make the conscious effort, choice of free will to go into the space of just letting go of the crap. No more discussion about just mindless stuff that's unimportant. No more judging anybody, including spiritual teachers out there who are human beings. You know, anybody who you think is evil, they're us. And they're just another expression. What are you doing? That's the most important part. I hope that you will come over, get my free stuff, and also you have the opportunity to get private training with me. It has been amazing for my students. I hope you'll subscribe. Free videos for online businesses if you want to start an online business. I have new stuff coming out all the time. You'll hear about that. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.